I mean, I was told by my film professor, there are films and there are movies. And sometimes you've got to know what you're walking into.
Yeah. See, but I come from a time when movies were films.
You know, part of the journey is the end. That's been the main overall theme as I've been going through all of the Fantastic Four movies. It's a very quick little 3-week series. That's just, hey, 3 weeks, 3 movies, very fast, just bing, bang, boom, get out the way. Start the year off to a kind of fun start, I hope. That was my intention going into the series, but it hasn't been fun at all. And the one film I've been dreading to go through has been Fant4stic. Yes, the movie's called Fant4stic, not Fantastic Four. It's Fant4stic because, one, the fans and the nerd community calls it that. And also, this is just some of the worst marketing I've ever seen for a movie in my entire life. Number one, I'm just going to start ripping the movie apart right now. The main poster for the movie with the Fant4stic in the main group together, and then you see the city behind them in rubble. That never happened in the movie at all, or in any kind of promotional that I remember. There's never any kind of city in destruction at all. They just made that happen in the promotional to make the movie kind of exciting, because frankly, this is just incredibly, incredibly boring. So starting off strong here, the movie sucks, and its marketing alone is terrible. And Fant4stic 4 has been the movie that I've really been dreading to watch, but also somewhat excited to watch it as well. I really wanted to watch this film to hopefully come around on the movie. I wanted to be the one guy who likes the Fant4stic movie from 2015, Josh Trank, a great cast all around. I wanted to be the one guy who thought this film was great, but unfortunately, it was not. This is definitely going to be one of the worst films we've ever done on the podcast here ever in my entire life. This movie made me actually very upset and angry and just frustrated. There's not just one problem that makes this movie actually bad. It's just like the entire thing needs to be just heavily revamped, revitalized, reshot altogether. It's not like how with the Snyder Cut, that was like, okay, Zack Snyder, he had a plan for the movie that got stolen from him. There we go. Just make the movie, give him his own cut of the film, 4 hours long, and then boom, we're done. We're finished. I can happily die at peace. Yet this movie, Fant4stic, there's no cut of the movie, at least from my knowledge, that could have saved this thing. The director says apparently there's a 2.5-hour cut. That's much better. I highly doubt it. But you know what? That's enough ranting already. We're going to go into the movie here. Fant4stic, 2015. Josh Trank made the movie here, directed the movie here. Josh Trank is actually a little bit of a talented guy. He did Chronicle, which is a very, very solid movie. Chronicle was actually super cool and fun. I really like it a lot. Chronicle takes that kind of found footage kind of thing, then does it with superheroes. What if a bunch of your high school friends got powers and one of them became super evil? That's what the movie is, and I actually really enjoy it. It's a great movie. Overall, it's great. Chronicle isn't like a 9 or 10 out of 10 movie, but it's solid. It's a solid film for like a Friday night or Saturday when you're just kind of bored. Throw on Chronicle. I actually do think that movie is very good, and I thought that Josh Trank would have been a great pick for this movie, and definitely for what the film was striving to be, but unfortunately, it sucks. It's actually very bad. Over in front of the camera here, we have a actually very phenomenal cast here. We have Miles Teller, who is just brilliant. Michael B. Jordan, who's also just brilliant right now, and also he's been just doing a lot of cool stuff behind the camera, in front of the camera. Michael B. Jordan, he's awesome. We also have Kate Mara, who was in Brokeback Mountain, The Martian, Iron Man. She's also a very solid actress. Is she like top 20 for me of all time? No. But this film is definitely, I think, a really good casting overall. And Kate Mara was definitely a pretty solid Sue Storm, but just suffered from a very bad script. Then also we have Jamie Bell, who isn't in a whole lot of movies, but still, he's also a very solid actor. He was also in All of Us Strangers, a film that came out in 2023. I'm not the biggest fan of the movie, but still, Jamie Bell is a solid actor. He's not like, Jake Gyllenhaal or something crazy like that, but he's still very talented overall, a very talented stacked cast of young guys and gals, and they do a pretty solid job here, but the script itself just isn't good. It's unfortunate that the script has been so bad to hinder such incredible talent. I should just start off this episode by saying I am truly just sorry. I'm sorry to the fans. I'm sorry to the director, the actors. Movies aren't easy to make. It takes so much willpower. It takes so many jobs, little jobs, to make just one scene come out great. And then this movie just drops the ball on everything. And Josh Trank had a vision for the film. I truly see that Josh Trank wanted to make this movie incredible, but this film was stolen from him. The studio just went behind his back and shot scenes behind his back, which is terrible. If you watch the movie, you can see how Kate Mara, Sue Storm, in some scenes, she has like a kind of like dirty blonde kind of hair, her natural hair. Then in other scenes, she's wearing a very bad and noticeable blonde wig. Also, in some scenes, Miles Teller has no beard at all. Other scenes, he has a little bit of stubble and facial hair. So it's very bad that they went behind his back. The director of the movie went behind his back, shot scenes without him knowing, and just ruined the movie. Overall, just ruined it. Will we ever get a Josh Trank cut of this movie? Most likely no. I mean, really, this movie is so bad to where, like I said previously, with Zack Snyder's Superman, the first one that they did in 2016 was not his cut of the movie, was terrible. Fans knew that there is a Snyder cut out there that he needs to release, yet with enough fan cry, enough outrage by the fans, they finally did it and it was incredible. But this movie is so bad that the fans just want to sweep it under the rug. This film didn't even exist. It was that bad to the point where we don't want to see what this film was supposed to be. Just make the new one, which is coming out in July, so we're all here for that. But still have to go through this one. It's a very fast little quick little episode. Look, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. I'm going to get through it quick. Starting off here super fast here with the prologue, we do have the context here. We're in 2015. We are very balls deep into the MCU. 2015 alone, just for the MCU side of things, is really starting to heat up. We have a lot of movies at this point. In 2015, we have Avengers Age of Ultron, also Ant-Man. Listen, at this point, Marvel has been really doing their thing. The cinematic universe side of things has been doing very, very good. Also, 2015, this film came out. 2014 as well was just incredibly stacked for superhero stuff alone. We had that very, kind of random X-Men film, Days of the Future Past, which is definitely the hands down best X-Men movie for the X-Men side of things, definitely the best one out there. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't that good, but I still defend it personally. Also, we have Winter Soldier. That's like a top 3 MCU film right there already. So this film definitely has a bit to live up to. Also, we had the first 2 films previously, so there's definitely a lot riding on this film to at least be decent. Let's have at least a decent movie for once. Not a bad one like the previous ones before were very bad, but this movie, Fantastic, makes the old films look like a work of art by just how bad it truly is. But this movie did have a chance to be a new generation for the younger guys out there like me, myself. I wasn't really into the early 2000s one because I was too young. So this film was really supposed to be my Fantastic Four, and they missed out just tremendously. It's actually very bad. But still, my first experience with this one, I remember seeing this film as a kid. I saw it with my parents, and I actually loved it a lot. My parents hated it, actually. My parents thought it was like garbage. But me as a kid, I was like, you know what? That was a great movie. And then after like a little bit of rewatches here and there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is trash. And then after recently, like this week when I rewatched it, this is just an utter pile of, I'm not going to finish the sentence. I really should, but I'm not. It's just an utter pile of, you know what I'm going to say. It just is just like everything you shouldn't do in the movie is here in this movie. That's how bad it is. But moving on here, going into the box office side of things, this film had a budget of 120 million and it made 167.9 million. That's definitely a flop on every single regard. No need to do math there. You may be saying, Logan, it made more money. Well, it needs to make like a little bit over twice this budget to be considered a success. Didn't do that at all. And then going into the critic side of things, still 9% critic score, then 18% audience score. It's rare that the audience and critics on Rotten Tomatoes agree in anything. And for this movie, for them to do that is a very big, just, you know what, I'm going to clap it up for you. Let's pour one out for Josh Trank and the entire Fantastic Four crew for being that bad at making movies. But, whatever, moving on. Roger Ebert's one of the GOATs when it comes to critiquing movies. He unfortunately passed away here before the film came out. But we do have a review here from the Roger Ebert website from Matt Zoller-Zeist. He does have some pretty cool reviews here and there, so I'll read them out here. He gave this film a 1.5 out of 4 stars. Then he said that the tone, structure of Fantastic Four should be studied in film school as an example of what not to do. He did a very good review here, and I'm going to link that full thing down below. But that really explains everything. This movie is just so bad to the point you can actually truly learned from it as what not to do. And it's very impressive for that alone. Then over on Letterboxd, we do have a 1.3 out of 5 average. I do have one single review here from Daniel Goldband, who gave this film 2.5 out of 5. And in his very small, cute little review, he said, "I see the vision." There's a lot of very funny Letterboxd reviews there, especially now after the new trailer came out. Everyone's going back to rewatch these old movies. But I saw a lot of reviews out there, but this one really did speak to me because I see the vision is what I was saying when I was watching the movie. And I'm going to go to it a little bit here, going to go into the main meat and potatoes of the movie. But I do see that Josh Trank had a vision of what he wanted to do with the movie. And I really do like what he had in mind. And you may be saying, Logan, that cut of the movie will never come out ever in our lifetime. And I agree. That cut of the movie might exist somewhere very deep within the Disney archives. Post buying Fox, I think that Kevin Feige, he most likely saw the cut of the movie that, Josh Trank, speaking of, he said that there was like 2.5 hour cut for him. Then they trimmed it down to like an hour and a half, hour 40-ish kind of thing. So I believe in my heart that Josh Trank had every intent to do love and care by these characters, but that was just stripped to him by just a terrible, terrible studio that is Fox. And, it's just sad. It's very sad to see, but there's nothing we can do about it now except move on to the new movie. But I'll still talk about this one. There's some stuff that I like about it, but for the most part, it's all bad. Okay, just going into it here, going into the meat and potatoes of everything. Number one, the very small, minuscule little positive thing that happened is that the F stays behind the Fox logo. Usually with the other X-Men movies that they did in the past, they did it at a point where the X stayed behind in the Fox logo. Now in this movie, the F stays behind for the Fantastic Four instead of the X for the X-Men. Listen, I understand that's such a minuscule, small, little positive thing, but this movie is so bad, I needed anything I can say positive about it because it's hard when it gets to a point. But just really starting off at the very beginning, seriously here, starting off at the very, very beginning, is that I like how in the opening of the movie, we start out with them as kids, with Reed and also Ben Grimm, respectively Mr. Fantastic and also The Thing. I like seeing them as kids because it gives me a chance to truly get to know them better and also connect with them better. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Josh Trank's cut, with the original cut of the movie, what he had in there, but I think that the first half of this movie feels a lot like what he intended to do with the film. That's what I feel here in the main first 30 minutes. This feels like everything is all him, but still, I like how in the opening here, seeing them as kids, seeing how we have these deeper character moments with Reed, also seeing his origin. The kids acting, it definitely kind of sucks, very robotic, but still, it's very cool to see that. It gives me more of a personal connection to everything, which I'm always here for in any movie. Then also Ben Grimm getting beaten up by his older brother, seeing that he had a very hard and bad and very abusive upbringing. Those are things that we don't really get to see in a lot of, comic book films in general, let alone the first two films. Didn't really have those moments of connective tissue for me to really kind of get a grasp on what these characters are feeling and why I should care about them. That never exactly happened. But here, I love seeing that, we have Ben Grimm and also Reed Richards as kids, really just loving each other, having this very strong brotherly bond. And that just adds so much more weight how later in the movie, I see how they're both kind of turned into enemies. That is something that I have to say, it is definitely a very positive thing. It's something that will happen in the next movie. Most likely it won't happen in our 2025 Fantastic Four film, but still, I'm all here for it. It's super cool. It's super fun. Something that's so small and so quick, it does add a lot of weight to the film that's definitely very appreciated. And like I said, the acting sucks for the kids side of things, but still, it is very strong. It's a very strong moment. That's also, like I said, it's super quick. It's super small. It's barely in the movie at all, but it does have a ripple effect felt throughout the entire movie. But still, the main, gist of the movie is for them to go to an alternate universe, alternate reality to research, I guess. It's always about research, so that's what we're going to go with here. So they all grown up and they're still working at science fairs and things like that. Super fun, also, like I said. But we do get introduced to our new Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is a character that I don't like him. He hasn't been done right in any kind of media. I understand I should read more comics. I don't read any at all. so I think that the character is boring and lame and whack in every adaptation that I've seen so far. But for this film, we have Doctor Doom being a gamer who hates the world, which still is like, I don't like, why is this guy one of the best characters in Marvel? I don't know, but I'm going to find out hopefully with Robert Downey Jr. But for now, he's a nerd gamer who hates the world and also is very jealous of everyone super easily. But still, it's cool seeing how he is more of a character. In the previous ones, he was like naturally a very evil and starky guy who just always had evil intentions, even when he was just a Elon Musk guy caring about stock prices and his overall majority shareholder side of things, side quest plot. That was the main Doctor Doom back in the old ones. This one, I like seeing that he is more of a character. He is more of a human being who has emotions. He is someone who is, I guess, very likable. He's a gamer who sits inside all day and hates the economy and the world and society. He's just like me. So, whatever. It's like looking in a mirror, but who cares? Then at this point in the movie, I'm saying to myself, is this a bad movie? Is this movie really bad? Because the opening, like 40 minutes, it's not like it's the best thing since Winter Soldier Captain America, but still, the opening, like 30, 40 minutes, I think is strong, and it makes me very connected to everything. And still, at this point, we haven't seen a whole lot of suit-up stuff or power stuff, but still, I like how they established the characters first as a very solid foundation. That definitely went very downhill very quickly, but I can still tell, and I see the vision that Josh Trank truly loved these characters and really wanted to do good by them, but unfortunately, we all know what happened, so let's just keep going through it. So it's at this point in the movie where I kind of started to realize just how short the movie actually is. It really is just going by fast, and not fast in a good way. By the time we get to the third act, it's kind of like nothing even happened yet. And my feelings still stand strong that the movie does do a solid job. Not perfect, but still it's very solid of them getting the powers, us being introduced to all the characters and arcs and motivations and all that. That's all I still think very strong, very positive. I love all of it. But still, by the time we get to the point of them getting their powers and now them being captured and Reed escaping the prison, we're already like in the third act of the film. It's already like about to be over. We really barely got any Fantastic Four in a Fantastic Four movie. Still, once again, it all goes down to the third act of the movie, to where they all finally team up in one very quick fight scene where they pack up their main big bad villain in like 5 minutes. It's actually kind of depressing. Maybe this is the part of the film where they were like, look, Josh Trank, the director, we love what you're doing here. We love you bringing the personal and heart and emotion to this movie, but it's just not a Fantastic Four movie like it should be. It needs more action. It needs more big bad CGI moments. That's not here at all. And you can definitely tell where in some scenes they were like reshot in like 5 minutes and edited in like 2, and they're just incredibly well, not well shot, horribly shot, and just horrible all around. But I'm not even done yet. I'm still just gonna speed through this whole thing. Number one, Giant Storm is still a great character. There's just so many great characters, but Johnny Storm, I love from this movie. He's just really all around a great character once again. He is so far, out of all these three, he's my favorite character. I really do think so. Still, we have Reed Richards being the main character here, but still, Giant Storm is a great supporting character. Also, Michael B. Jordan plays him brilliantly. He's not as good as Chris Evans, but he still does a very solid job. Also, what's still surprisingly here to stay is Doctor Doom still being an absolute dork and a nerd, and also, in this case, a simp in this movie. I do like how in the scene where he says, shouldn't you be more professional, when Reed is trying to just, rizz up Sue Storm. Like, come on, man. Don't be that guy. Stop being a dork. It's annoying. I hate him. I hate that just so much, but whatever. But anyways, this massive particle accelerator teleporter thing, they do get it to work, which is awesome. And now, rightfully so, they want to get NASA involved, which, yes, that makes sense. You're exploring a new world, you're exploring a new dimension. Yes, you should have NASA to be there with the technology and also all the astronauts. It makes sense to do that. But what I do like here, and also with Josh Trank, this may still be in his realm of his cut of the movie. I like how we get the perspective of them being irrelevant and then also shunned because of their success. They start to mention how when the moon landing happened, no one remembers the guys who made the rocket, they only remember Neil Armstrong and also Buzz Aldrin, but no one knows the one guy who spent countless hours of no sleep to make the rocket and get all the calculations to work, and how they don't want to be that guy. They want to be the first guys to do it. And that makes sense in the movie. It is very dumb for the characters, but still it makes sense to not be burdened by being told by some random guy in a suit that you guys are too young, you're not qualified, even though they aren't qualified and they are too young. Still, be stupid for once, and yeah, you may regret it, or you may look back on it fondly through a very fun memory. Then at this point, I'm just going to just quickly go through the movie. There's nothing good past this point. I think that at this point in the movie, this is where the Josh Trank cut of the movie is officially over. It officially stops. As soon as they get into that little teleporter thing, that's where everything goes to absolute downhill, dog. You know what I'm going to say after that. I'm not going to swear, but you know what I'm going to say. So as going into it here, the CGI for them being in that alternate universe world is abysmal. It's terrible. That's actually Disney Channel level bad kind of movie. You know that one Disney Channel film with the time travel guys in the snowsuits? That's like exactly what the Fantastic Four otherworld scene is, and it's actually terrible. I don't like it at all. But what I do like, despite the movie still having terrible CGI, I do like the darker tone and storytelling of them getting their powers. It's very graphic and dark and really horrifying. And it makes sense. I mean, I know in the other iterations, it's fun, it's cool. Oh my gosh, I can fly and I have fire powers. I'm rocks. That's so cool. I can turn into rocks and rubble. Oh my gosh, I can stretch to the length of a football field. And then in this one, it's scary. Like this one as a kid, and even when I watched it this week, it was truly terrifying, that scene, which once again, is this in the Josh Trank cut? I really do think it is. But if it's not, whatever, the movie still sucks overall. But I do have to give them props here. I do have to give them some very cool clap on the hands, because you know what? You did a good job. I know. You did a great job here with that one. The designs are super fun, and just the way that they all discover their powers, it's scary, and it would be scary in real life. And I saw a review here on as well on Letterboxd. A review said this is pretty much just Fantastic Four, but in real life, which doesn't make sense to me. The movie just has a very much more grounded and also darker take on everything, which I do love. But the one that's really just the most cool, I think, is when the Thing gets his powers, him just crying for his friend Reed to come and save him and fix this is just so tragic and heartbreaking, and also just horrifying once again to watch. Or even when Reed Richards, when he's crawling to Ben Grimm to see what's wrong with him, see what's wrong with his best friend, then he looks back, sees that his body is like 12 feet long, he just passes out. That's just so cool. And then also just them being in the laboratory in that like weird warehouse, super darkly lit area. And then that everything about that whole sequence of them being studied for their powers and all that, that's super cool. But that's also like the entire film right there. The movie at this point is like almost over, unfortunately. But still, I have to say that the Thing design is very good. The CGI is very solid. Also, the trailer for the new movie CGI is also super cool and solid. Johnny and Sue Storm is also solid design. I think that, unfortunately, though, Mr. Fantastic, Miles Teller, he looks weird. The power stuff looks off to me. I know it's supposed to be more of an uncanny valley kind of approach to things, but still, it looks weird. Him stretching his body, dodging bullets and stuff, it doesn't look right, unfortunately. And you might be saying, Logan, this movie came out like 10 years ago. This film's CGI won't look that polished. Well, for just very quick little, kind of context here, 2015 is the exact same year as Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron may not have had the best CGI, but it is definitely better than a lot of scenes in this film. Also, in this same year, 2015, is Avengers Age of Ultron. Also, we had that one little indie movie, Star Wars Force Awakens, which has absolutely, I think, like 10 out of 10 CGI. It's actually very, very, very impressive. Mad Max Fury Road CGI is also very good. It's very stylized, but still, that movie, Fury Road, still has incredible CGI. Jurassic World, you get the point here. There are other films that came on the exact same year that have even better CGI than some films today, which, says a lot about everything. But, yeah, we know that already. Also, The Martian is just a great film in general. Go watch that movie. Great CGI there, too. And just many, many, many more. Even also, didn't Interstellar come out in 2014? It did, right? So listen, there's no excuse for bad CGI here. They just rushed some things, and just the design was just not it at all. Like the production design, cinematography, and the lighting was terrible. And I'm barely one to say that CGI and production design and everything overall behind the camera is bad. I usually give props to films for at least having solid CGI and solid just cinematography, which is a very basic thing, but no, it's not good. Like, for just a very quick example, the forest fight scene with Reed Richards is just bad on so many different levels. It's not even that long, but just starting off here with number one, as a story beat, I'm not a fan with Reed Richards being on the run and being a criminal. That's just wasting time in my opinion. I get it and I understand that he was scared, and that does feel like it has a little bit of that like Josh Trank level sauce and spice magic to it, but still, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of that being a story beat, and also being here for like 10 minutes at most. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it at all. At that point, if you're gonna have him be on the run for like 10 minutes, what's the point at that point? We really get no sense or push or weight to this moment at all of him being a convict and a felon. To have it be here is, I feel like, a waste of time, really. I'm no writer. I've never been to film school. I was very bad in English in high school. But still, that just for me as an audience member, it feels like a waste of time, and it's just not very smart at all. But now going into the technicalities of the actual forest fight scene, everything's bad about it. Everything just is not good. I'm not a fan of anything. Like I said, it's a very cool concept and very cool the way they do it, but still, it's just horrible color grading, very bad CGI, very bad cinematography. Everything about this just is way too warm. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm not a professional cinematographer. I shoot photos sometimes for cars. I that's my hobby now, is being a car film photographer. And this is scene, the color grading is way too warm. I get it. It's taking place in Mexico, we'll say, sure, some South American area country. That's where this is taking place. Some Hispanic countries are very hot and warm, so they dialed up to the warmth in the color grading to like 1,000,000, which it looks so bad, and just the contrast, it looks very bad. It looks very awful. I'm not even a student for film, but even I know that movies just should not look like this. If this was like, Mad Max Fury Road has a lot of these stylized moments, but this film for the most part is very dark, and the cinematography is very dark, hard to see sometimes, which is definitely very intentional, but still, not a fan of this one at all. It's way too aggressive. It's just shot terribly. CGI looks bad. The green screen looks horrible. So CGI, everything terrible, awful, terrible. Shouldn't happen. That's one scene in the movie. As someone who's not even a student of any kind for film, I think that this being here, the way it's shot, cut, edited, cinematography, production design, directing, all of it, all around, is bad, which is just very impressive, honestly. To learn from this and really know what's not to do for movies, then it makes it easier to spot what's really good in film. But like I said, essentially the movie is at this point pretty much over, but still, whatever. So moving on, Dr. Doom is back, and he's ugly and lame once again. So in this part of the movie, I remember when my parents saw it, my parents said that they thought that he was going to come back and take over the world, but it's so whack and dumb that his whole intention of Dr. Doom is to come back to Earth, then be like, you know what? Earth is really trash. I'm going to go back to my main planet now. That makes a whole lot more sense. It's like, why? That doesn't make any sense. It's like if Thanos came back and he was like, you know what? I don't want to come to Earth. This is kind of lame. I'm going to go back to Titan instead. It's like, why did I even come here? Why are you here? Why are you the big bad of the entire Earth if you don't even want to take it over or something? I don't know. Do anything. Do something at least. I mentioned it before, how in the first two films, the Doctor Doom there is lame and whack, but still, I'll admit that he has a very cool plot of trying to get his overall investments and stocks in order. That's something, at least, instead of being a nerd and a simp for your home planet. That's not even your home planet. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's lame. And also the design for it is ugly. It's gross. I guess maybe it's a little bit more comic accurate, but yuck. It's disgusting. I don't want to see that ever again. I pray that whatever Marvel does with Robert Downey Jr., I pray it's good, but I can only pray for now. Then going into third act is bad, as we all know, and it's just, it's lame and it's bad CGI. It's, number one, very poor lit. This is a very poor lit scene. Once again, not a cinematographer. I'm in no way professional in any kind of film or realm of this filmmaking career, but I'm just here as an audience member saying this is a way too underexposed scene that may have been something that they did in post intentionally, but it's just so bad, very poorly lit. One, very underwhelming. The area around it is just rubble and rocks, and it's very dark and just such low exposure, except for that one big blue beam in the sky. And it's bad. It's very bad. Super underwhelming. At least they team up, I guess, but still, it's bad that this is their big bad villain and he gets mollywopped in like 5 minutes. That's it. Their only fight scene is with their big bad. Once again, like how we did in 2005, was it? With the first movie? Yeah, no, this is not what it should be for a Fantastic Four movie. Have their one fight scene be against their biggest bad ever and have zero chemistry, not a lick of chemistry at all anywhere in this entire movie. Ugh, it's disgusting. It's gross. That's essentially it. Oh, wait, no, I'm forgetting one little tiny thing. The scene of them at the very end, they all defeat Doctor Doom very easily. By the, he's actually dead. He actually died. He actually died. They killed someone. And they're big bad. They're Thanos for the Fantastic Four. Got like shredded to shreds in 5 minutes. That's it. He's done. He's not getting into the sequel. They're not going to be in Fantastic Four 2. In fact, there is no Fantastic Four 2. So whatever. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll be in Secret Wars. We'll see. But I'm forgetting one little tiny scene when they defeat Doctor Doom. Then they go back to their main new facility, and then they need a new name, right? They need a new name for their team. They are a team now, right? But hey, at least Ben Grimm is like, you know what? It's pretty fantastic. Wait a minute. He said fantastic. Wait, say that again, man? Fantastic. Yes, it is. It is fantastic. This is a very fantastic. Oh my, wait, fantastic. And there's 4 of us, not 5. There's actually 4. The Fantastic Four. Oh my gosh. Wait, guys, I got it. Guys, I got it. Oh my, wait a minute. Wait a dang minute. Fantastic Four. Boom, cut to black. Listen, the fact that the most memorable thing about the movie is a terrible part of a terrible script that speaks everything I need to say about the movie. The film is bad and it's also over. I have zero connection for this movie. I have nothing to defend about it, nothing good to say about it. Overall, terrible, bad. We all knew that. But still, despite this movie being very bad, every movie is about something. Every film is about something. Every movie has a main overall message and theme. But this one is so bad to the point where it doesn't even deserve it. I usually have some very heartful, this is my main message and lesson that I learned from the movie that can impact and influence my life. But, really, man, I'm drawing a blank right now. I have nothing in my head. It's just straight done. I have nothing left to say about this movie. It's that bad. I have nothing. No notes, no main lesson about it. It's just, I'm done. I'm tapped out for it. My main score for this movie is going to be an F-, or at least an F. Not an F-. It's an F for now. F- maybe later, but still. Terrible. Worst one so far, not even by a mile. It's terrible. I never want to watch this ever again, but I might one day with my kids and be like, hey, Papa Logan, why did this movie not get a sequel? You're about to find out, Junior. All right. Sorry. Overall, bad movie. If you want to watch it, if you like it, sure. I still have respect for what the director, Josh Trank, what he was trying to do. I see it. I see it somewhere under all the mess and the noise of the bad that this film is. I see a message. It's very small. It's like the size of your pinky. That's how small it is in a very massive sea of garbage. It's so small, but I do see it. It's a very tiny little bit of a light that's still in the movie. So I respect him for it, but still, until then, it's still very bad. So that's the review for the movie. It's an F. The episode's over, but I do have a few little fun facts and also the MVP to give away. So I'll do that now. And then if you want to leave, you can leave. If you want to stay, you can stay. But that's just about do it. The new movie is going to be very good. It's going to be very good. We have a new movie coming out 2025. July is going to be super stacked in general. But the movie looks solid. It looks like it's going to be a very good film. I'm actually, for some reason, somehow excited for the new movie. That feels weird to say that again. I'm actually excited for the future of Marvel. I haven't said that in years, and now I'm here saying it. That feels weird to say, but it's accurate, and I'm going to stick by it. I'm going to stand behind it. But just going into what we have left for the show, it's a very fun little bit of superlatives. It's still under construction, so we're trying to figure out what to do, if to do anything else at all. But I do have 2 things to do here. Number 1 is Buzz from the Backlot, and the second is MVP. But first thing, Buzz from the Backlot, what is this exactly? Film fun facts. I have 3 film fun facts that aren't even that fun, actually very sad for the movie, but I had to throw them in here because they're just so sad of fun facts that I actually had to throw it in, because just when you thought when the credits rolled, the movie just can't get any worse after this, when you hear these fun facts, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it can get worse. So, hey, I had to go through pain, so do you. So let's go on into it. The first fun fact is that Stan Lee declined to make a cameo in the film, which is weird because Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics, declined to cameo in his work. His own work. He was a cameo, at least I think in the first two ones back then, right? They were bad then too, but at least he did a cameo in them. And this one he didn't. For what reason? We're not exactly sure why, but still, it's very telling that he didn't want to do a cameo for a reason that we don't know. But still, regardless, it's sad. Very sad. And now for the second fun fact is that Josh Trank envisioned his film as being about 2 hours and 20 minutes long. The studio cut that down significantly to an hour and 40 minutes, which still, 2.5 hours would have saved the movie. I don't think so. In reality, I don't think that would have saved the film, but I still would like to see it one day. If we do, most likely not at all. That is somewhere buried very deep within the Disney archives. The original cut to Fan 4 stick is somewhere on this planet Earth, is somewhere deep buried, very deep below the center core of the Earth, is an original cut for this movie. But will we ever see it? Most likely no. Then our very third and final very sad fun fact is that after the disappointing reviews, Josh Trank went on a tweet and said that he would never be working on a comic book film ever again. And that's extremely sad. That's extremely sad to hear, because I'm not sure, I don't know him personally, but I think that Josh Trank truly did want to make this film incredible, and he really did have an envisionment and definitely a dream to make this film, dare I say, fantastic. Wait, let me say that again. He had a vision to make this film fantastic, and it wasn't. But still, I do love him, and I do definitely respect him for him at least having the passion to go out and do this. Was it bad? Yes. Will he ever make a movie again? Most likely no. He's in director prison for this one. But still, I do think it's very sad what happened, and we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, we're done with this one. It's definitely gone, swept away under the rug. The fans definitely just don't want to see this ever again. That's very sad. But for the MVP, we do have the one, the only Miles Teller. It was a very short and close race between Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, but it came down to him because Miles Teller is very good, an incredible actor who's made a lot of bad movies. Why? Don't ask me. He picks roles pretty badly. He needs a new agent, I think. I mean, I'm not an agent that's perfect, but still, I could do your agent, buddy. I could get you casted in Over the Hedge too, like today. Let me get it in there, please. But my other question for you is, do you think that these guys are going to come back in a Secret Wars movie? I think no, but I think that there might be a chance. Look, if Chris Evans came back, I get it. It's Chris Evans. He was like down immediately. But if Chris Evans came back as Human Torch in Deadpool, I think that there's a chance that we might get at least Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan to come back as their roles respectively. It would be super fun too to see Michael B. Jordan come back too. So I'm all here for that. Will it happen? I'm not sure, but once again, if Kevin Feige hits you up and says, hey, I'll give you $5 million to do a 2-minute cameo, you're going to answer the call, you're going to be on set the next day. That's all I got to say about it. So I hope so. I think that out of all these movies, it would be very fun to see these two guys here, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, and seeing them come back in their roles respectively would be cool. It would be super fun to see. I really want to see that happen in Secret Wars. I think there's a very strong chance of it happening too. But as for Kate Mara and Jamie Bell, they're actually married, which is super fun, but they're most likely tapped out and done. They are probably like super pissed with this movie to where if Kevin Feige called them, they would just hang up immediately. That's how bad they're probably pissed off, but still, I would love to see them come back too. Will it happen? Unlikely, but I would love to see them, at least a couple of these Fantastic Four guys, come back in Secret Wars. I'd be here for it. And then as for the first movie, I think there's strong chances. Like I said, if Chris Evans came back, that had to have given them some kind of motivation to, if Kevin Feige calls them to say, hey, look guys, 10 mil, come on the lot today, do a 5-minute cameo scene, they're going to pull up to do like 3 scenes, and they're going to knock it out of the park. I think that's very realistic to happen, but we'll see. But still, like I said, that just about wraps it. The episode's over. It's finished. It's done. There's still a lot of fun things happening right now in film and also TV shows, like Invincible dropped today. And I'm sitting here recording this on Thursday night. I'm not sure why. I'm about to go watch it right now. Also, Spider-Man TV show has been really solid so far. Also, the Oscars are coming around. A lot of drama at the Oscars as well, which I'll talk about here. If I do a Amelia Perez episode, there's been some drama about one of the actors being like cut forever from the movie. So that's no, not cut forever. The one of the actors had some like drama on Twitter, so they're like cut from the running for the Oscars, just like swept out, done, cut. You're finished. You're out. You're done. You're donezo. They did what they did to AD in the NBA. That's what they did to the Emilia Perez actress. So it's been very bad overall for a lot of stuff in the Oscars. But still, I'm going to talk about The Brutalist next week, which will be fun. But, until then, stay swagged, stay cool, watch more films, watch Invincible. What are you doing right now? Watch Invincible. And until then, I'm Real Slogan. I'll see you boys in the movies.
Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you